Hello, church. This is the midweek update from First Baptist Church of Omaha for May 13th, year 2020. As the coronavirus continues in the United States, there seems to be a growing divide in our country. And very broadly, it seems to be the choice between continuing to stay at home and self-isolate and opening the economy. Now, I'm not a real psychologist or sociologist, but it's fascinating to watch this situation play out. Scientists and others are concerned about the spread of the virus and warn of a rise in positive cases and even death if people don't abide by the rules of self-distancing and sanitation. But on the other hand, scientists are still analyzing data which is giving varying results. And there are millions of people who are now out of work because their jobs aren't deemed as not essential. Despite a little government help, people still have bills to pay and they want to work. I believe the proponents of the economy don't want people to die, certainly, but are willing to accept the risk of exposure to build what's called herd immunity. I've heard that the infection and death rate of this virus is similar to a bad seasonal case of the flu. So what do we do about this divide in our country, and how does it affect our church? On a national level, I look at how people are approaching this argument and the motives that are behind their argument. And some of that is clear to see and some isn't. Some people are clearly motivated by their agenda and making a political football out of the issue of this virus. And if we're not careful, that would be our example too. As for the church, this divide has me thinking about how we relate to each other and respect each other, although we might disagree. When we disagree, do we dismiss the other person or just avoid them? Do we shut out the other person because we don't appreciate their opinion? Or can we be polite and civil enough to hear another person out? Can we try to stand in their place and see the issue from their perspective? Can we be respectful and listen to another's opinion out of a spirit of Christian love? Well, I would always hope that we would choose those latter responses. As a definition of compassion, I would hope that we would have concern for the potential suffering of another person and those that we are certainly around, most oftentimes at church, and that we would do what's in their best interests, a definition of Christian love, even though we don't necessarily want to do that at the moment. Now, this issue is probably on my mind more this week because, as I mentioned Sunday, a reopening task force has been meeting to set up some guidelines about reopening First Baptist Church. And while we'll have a few procedures for us to follow for us to be able to gather for worship, I hope that those requirements are going to be temporary. The bottom line is that we want to use common sense and work together to achieve balance. Because I don't think the cure to this virus is going to be found in hiding out in our homes until a cure is found, or in going about life as normal and foolishly perhaps endangering dozens or hundreds of people. We want to take appropriate actions to keep us all safe and to be open and sensitive to each other. If we can cooperate with each other and treat each other with respect, what a wonderful example that would be for our community and for the nation. Have a good rest of the week, church, and we will talk again soon.